can hear. Okay, so let me know if the sound is good. Oh, yes, sir. All right, so let me go back to the introduction and all that good stuff, right? So guys, welcome back to some crypto. In today's content, now we'll talk about BTC. We'll take a look at BTC on the macro scale. We'll take a look at BTC on a monthly basis, all the way down to the 6-hour time frame and all that good stuff. Okay, so we'll talk about BTC. The BTC. We'll take a look at the BTC dominance, and at the same time, we'll talk about the BTC gold BTC ratio right here, and what type of price action we could anticipate over the next like a few weeks or even like a few months going forward. At the same time, I don't think we talk about the total two in my in my public live streams and all that good stuff, but we will take a look at the total two to basically anticipate some sort of a breakout to the upside if we're going to be breaking out above the if we're going to be breaking out above the weekly 21 EMA about like 1.1 trillion, or retesting like a 750 billion, or even down to like a 680 billion. Okay, just about like a 0.786 down to a 0.618. We'll talk about all that good stuff, right? But let's go ahead and take a look at the chat room, right? So thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. We got Craig in the house, we got Jay Balls in the house. Thanks a lot for tuning in, man. It's been a while. Video in the house. Thanks a lot for tuning in, man. It's been a while too, Mr. Video. Quiet Cook, Teld, Imal 101. Thanks a lot for tuning in. The sound is good now. 2012 in the house, and everyone else. Okay, Quiet Cook, Mr. Shu, Hank Duster in the house, Mr. Litecoin, and Aladino. So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC before we talk about the volume and all that good stuff. Okay, so when we take a look at the BTC chart over the last few months, nearly, guys, since when? Since like January 2021, guys. So January 2021 till basically February 2022, over like 12 months, okay, 13 months of sideways correction, and bears and bulls been calling for all kind of numbers. Bears been calling for 14Ks, bulls been calling for like 100K, 200K. But if you've been basically very patient in this range and watch our analysis, what we said regarding regarding BTC when we were down to like a 30K, we were saying like we're not going to be breaking out below the monthly 21. So even though bears been calling for like a 14K back then, what we said was like we're going to be pushing back up. Okay, we don't know if we're going to be breaking out all-time high, but all we know is like we still above the 21 EMA, and at the same time, we were using our 3 weeks 21 EMA right here. That's one of the reasons why I was very confident. Okay, BTC was not going to be breaking out below the 3 weeks 21 EMA, just about like a 30K. So we stay very consistent and got the move all the way up to a 69 and all that good stuff, right? So now if we go back to the monthly 21 EMA, what we're saying is like bulls, for the bulls to basically get a reversal, possible reversal, right? The monthly 21 got to stay bullish. It doesn't matter even if we close 10 points above the candle open. The candle open just about like a 38 466, depending on which exchange you're using. Okay, but if you're using like, let's say, Binance, the candle open was 38 466. So we got to close above 38 466 for the month of February for bulls to get any chance of a possible reversal. Okay, if we close below 38 466, it means like we're going to see lower prices. Okay, and we will discuss in terms of like a support and all that good stuff, how low we could get, right? So the type of candle we got back in 2018, as you can see right here, okay, that's the type of candle we want to avoid getting right here, getting these lower highs, okay, right there. Okay, so we just have to avoid it. We already created a lower high right here, but the candle being bullish will give bulls a high chance. Okay, so we will see if bulls will be able to close above 46 for the month of February, that would be good. However, you know, they don't have to basically close above 46. Okay, they just have to close above the monthly 21, especially above you know, 38 for 66, and you know, we could get some more data and basically get a better pattern and all that good stuff after that, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at BTC in terms of volume now. So in terms of volume, we talked about it last time. Okay, last week what I said was like, we're going to get a big breakout. Okay, we're going to get a big breakout. It is just inevitable. I don't see the volume going to zero. Okay, volume can never ever go you know, can never goes to basically can never dump basically to zero. Okay, your volume will always be you know, be positive. Okay, so what we're looking at right now is like a potential big move to the upside in terms of volume. I'm not saying it is going to be red or it is going to be green. It doesn't matter. The only thing we need is like a net volume. Okay, a net volume. Let's just use white right here. So a net volume. Okay, it doesn't have to be green, it doesn't have to be red, because the candle body will basically define, right, the structure. It means like if we get a nice body candle right here, let's say if we get a nice body candle right there with a big wick to the downside right there, right, the candle can, you know, can be red, right, if we close below the you know, if we close below the open. Okay, it doesn't matter if we're going to get it in February or March, but all I'm saying is the type of candle we get, right, the closing of that candle will define the volume. Okay, and how deep we drop, we will basically just rely on our monthly time frame. If we take a look at it on the monthly, right, we talk about the monthly 50 EMA, but we just have to be very cautious because the monthly 50 EMA on Binance, right, if we take a look at the monthly 50 EMA on Binance, right now it is at 21,000. Okay, I don't know if some of you guys caught that or not, but it is at 21,000, right? Okay, it is at 21,000, right? But if we take a look at it on let's say if you take a look at it on Bitstamp or Coinbase or any other exchanges, right, so you can see like the monthly 50 EMA, not 21 but 50 EMA, it is at 24k, right? So we just have to be very cautious depending on which exchange you're using, right? That's why I've been saying like the range between 24, right, down to 22 going to be crucial, or even up to 26 depending on volatility. All right, but just have to respect the monthly 50 EMA. If we get a breakout below the monthly 21 EMA support, it has to be a big move, okay, because the volume, once again, the volume is decreasing. It cannot go to zero, so it, you know, we need to reset the volume, and after that big move we can get like lower volume in this range until we get another big volume over time, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC in terms of 3 weeks time frame. Okay, the 3 weeks time frame, it is not looking great. Okay, if you guys recall back in I think like back in January, we talked about like the 21 EMA on a 3 weeks basis. It is going to give us a tough time. All right, so, and as you can see right here, we could not close above the 21 EMA right here cleanly. Okay, so it is not a good sign, and the next support based on the 3 weeks time frame, it is going to be roughly around like a 31k. Right now it is at to be exact, right, it is at a let's see right here. Okay, it is at $30,885. okay, that's the range to keep an eye on for the 3 weeks time frame support. Okay, remember the 3 weeks time frame, right, back in June, July, right, was our support right here, right, on the based on the 21 EMA, but we broke out below the 21 EMA. And even when we were dumping right here, we talked about like how, you know, how the 21 EMA on our 3 weeks time frame going to provide a strong support right there. So now it is going to be acting as what, a you know, a strong resistance. Okay, we got to get above it in order to stay bullish, but as long as we staying below it, most likely bear is going to be in control and all that good stuff. Okay, so the short term, the short to medium term support in terms of the macro view, it is going to be all the way down to the low 30k. So speaking of low 30k, we know exactly most people are waiting for 30k. So we got a good, a good argument to say, hey, we got our 50 EMA on our 3 weeks time frame, just in case we do not retest the 50 EMA, right, on our monthly basis, right? Remember back in May, June, July, right? What we said was like, we're going to use the 3 weeks time frame to front run what the monthly time frame. Okay, we will use the 3 weeks time frame, right, the 3 weeks 21 EMA to front run what the monthly 21 EMA, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, so we will basically use the same setup, right, to front run the 50 EMA. So 30k support, right, it is going to be crucial. If we break it, then we could be looking for the monthly 50 EMA, right? So just keep that in mind over the next like a few weeks and so on. I don't think like we will get there this week, but who knows? Okay, market is pretty crazy, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on a weekly basis, right? So when we take a look at BTC on a weekly basis, last week, I think last week or a couple of weeks ago, right, we talked about the rejection right here, right? And we said it is a very bearish pattern or very bearish candle, right? So we just have to be very cautious. Even though price action was pushing to the upside, started back in Monday. So sucker pump like on a 6-hour basis, just pump to the upside, okay, but could not break out above the 46 resistance we talk about. Okay, 45 to 46 was what the daily up to the weekly resistance. At the same time, 46k is what the monthly resistance. Why the monthly resistance? If we take a look at right here, our monthly open was at 46 too. So that's why I was saying like the weekly resistance basically coincide with the daily resistance, and at the same time coincides with the weekly resistance. Okay, basically monthly, weekly, and daily, they were all they were all having the same resistance area at 46k. So we could not basically get a clean breakout above it. Okay, so within the next like a few days or even like a few weeks, we could expect like the weekly 100 EMA right here to provide a temporary support. Okay, to provide a temporary support. I just don't know, okay, if price action will create a double top double bottom in this range. That's why I'm just being cautious, because if we create this pattern, it will affect the monthly 50 EMA. You see what I'm saying? Because the monthly 50 EMA, it is still pushing higher. So the longer we stay in this range, right, the faster the monthly the higher the monthly 50 EMA will be pushing to the upside. Okay, so something to basically keep in mind. That's why I'm saying just have to keep an eye on the moving average, but not the price. Because if I say 24k, most people are going to be like, oh, 24k, but I'm saying the monthly 50 EMA. We don't know where the monthly 50 EMA going to be at within the next like a couple of months. Okay, in Q2 or Q3, we don't know where the 3 weeks 50 EMA going to be at within the next like a few candles, right? So if we do not capitulate down and the weekly time frame decides to get a double top double bottom right here, of course the 3 weeks 50 EMA will push higher. Okay, it will push higher, and it could even be somewhere around like a 33, 34, meaning like the 50 EMA on a monthly could be anywhere around like a 25, 26, depending on volatility, right? So the volume will basically play a big role, because the lower the volume, the lower the volatility. Okay, most of the time. Okay, it doesn't have to be all the time, but low volume basically will describe the low volatility. So we will need to get like a big volume to basically take out 30k and even retest the 20 the 24 or even down to 21k if the volatility is high enough, right? If and only if. Okay, it is not guaranteed it will hit those levels and all that good stuff. Hey, what's up, Strengths? Thanks a lot for tuning in. Jenko Gold in the house, thanks a lot for tuning in. AXS, please. We will take a look at AXS. Make sure to remind me, okay? All right. John Doe, what up, man? Thanks a lot for tuning in. One Speed, buenas noches. Bonsoir. Thanks a lot for tuning in. What about, William is basically asking about Ether. We will talk about Ether after we finish talking about BTC and all that good stuff. Okay, so now let's go ahead and dive into the 3D time frame. Okay, so the 3D time frame, as I said, if you guys recall, after we crossed bullish right here, what I was saying was like just be cautious. Okay, even though we got a bullish crossover right here, it doesn't necessarily mean like we will be getting the reversal. Okay, I said it right here, and I'll give you guys what a very a very good example right here back in mid-July, right after we crossed bullish right here, price action retested the bottom. So I was saying like, okay, we got the bullish crossover. It is a good sign. It could be the starting of a new uptrend, but it doesn't necessarily mean like BTC will break out right away like that. Okay, we don't know. Okay, but one thing we knew was like we're not basically going to get an easy breakout like above the 44, right, up to a 46k area. We knew that. Okay, that's why I was saying if you bought the dip right here, 35k at the weekly 100 EMA. Remember guys, we talked about the weekly 100 EMA back in December, right? We said our support going to be at the weekly 100 EMA, and we will get another pump, right? And we will basically take profits depending on the structure. And after we get the pump, we said 43.5 up to 46, it is going to be take profit zone, right? And bears could be accumulating shorts for the next like a downtrend, right? And all that good stuff. So now if we take a look at the 3D basis, MACD, it is still positive. That's why price action is slowing down. Okay, it is, even though it is dumping slowly. It is not capitulating because your MACD on the 3D, it is still positive. So it is not going to be easy to get a big capitulation. So I don't see a capitulation now until we get a negative crossover, at least on our 3D time frame. Okay, so something to keep in mind. That's why I'm saying the possibility of BTC creating this move right here, right? It is directional. I'm not saying it will go all the way up to those levels, right? But the possibility of BTC creating this pattern is very high. Okay, the probability is very high. Okay, but we will see if we will if we will stay positive like that, okay, and not crossing bearish. Because if we cross bearish right here, everything could change. Okay, because even if we get a double bottom, you just don't know how low your next low going to be. That's the problem with these divergences. Okay, and we talk about it on the daily also, right? Remember when BTC was creating a double bottom right here on our daily basis? We will take a look at it later. Okay, what we were saying was like just be cautious because you don't know how deep we will drop. You don't know how deep we will drop. But just to cut it short on a 3D basis, yes, we still below our 21 EMA, but MACD, it is still positive. So it means like the range of 33 to 35, it is still going to be a short-term support. Okay, let's say daily to the 3D time frame, or even up to the weekly, because the weekly 100 EMA, it is still at 36k. Okay, so the range of 35 to 33, it is still going to be a support. Okay, 35 down to 33k. Okay, it is still going to be a good support going into March until we basically break out below it. Okay, so but let's see, because we did have a similar structure back in 2019 right here, that pattern right there. Okay, we did have a nice double top double bottom before the capitulation. I'm not saying it will print the same pattern, but something to just keep in mind just in case, because as soon as we start pumping, guys, Moonboy is going to be calling for 100k, 200k, $1 million and all that good stuff. But you got to keep an eye on your resistances and all that good stuff. you know, whenever we dump like 10%, everyone will be calling for like a 14k, 10k, and all that good stuff. But it won't be that easy because price action, it is still above the monthly 21 EMA. Okay, it won't be easy to basically break out below the monthly 21 EMA and dump like 60%, 50%, just like that. Okay. Yes, in the past, okay, whenever we dump below the monthly 21 EMA, we tend to dump like 50%. We know that, but all we're saying is like it is not going to be easy. Back in 2018, as you can see right here, I showed you guys back in 2018 what happened. We dumped like 50% below the monthly 21 EMA. You know, 2020 we dumped like 50% below the monthly 21 EMA. 2014 right here, right, we dumped 50%, 60% below the monthly 21. If we're going to capitulate, you know, we could dump 40, 30, 35, or even 50%. Okay, but we will see. Okay, we will see if that's going to be possible, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on a daily basis. So when we take a look at BTC on a daily basis, a couple of days ago, hopefully you guys caught that move, meaning like right here, the volume right there was pretty low in terms of like a buying pressure. Okay, right there. So you knew, you know, bears were in control, right? And we talk about it, guys. We talk about like how, you know, the double tap right here, right, was a you know, was actually could be an isolated move. Even if we push back up, it could be an isolated move. That's why I was anticipating Ethereum to dump. Okay, when Ether was like around like 2950, 3000 area, I was like, okay, average entry going to be somewhere around like a 3150, because BTC was already bearish, right? And Ether BTC was already bearish at the same time, so you knew Ether will basically dump harder than BTC. Okay, if we're going to be if BTC going to be pulling back down to a 50% to 0.618. So we broke out below the 21 EMA. MACD on the daily time frame was, you know, actually bearish after the negative, after the dump right here, price action being staying below the 21 EMA, right, on a daily basis. MACD crossed negative, so that basically gave us a strong confidence level, like we most likely going to be retesting lower prices. Okay, and what we said was like 50% to a 0.618, and right now, as you can see, we exactly in this range of 50% to a 0.618. 0.618 being like 37.4, actually 37.3, something like that. But I like to front run the price, so I like to say, you know, give like a higher prices above the 0.618. So this range as of now will basically be a temporary support for the bulls, and we'll decide what type of structure we will get on the lower degree and all that good stuff. But one thing to keep in mind, I said it after the 12-hour cross negative, right? Remember, guys, right there, told you the 12-hour time frame cross negative right there. Okay, and I showed you everything regarding the downtrend. The push we got right here, the 12-hour time frame did not cross positive, and I told you, you know, I showed you, you know, in many occasions, right? Whenever you get these negative momentum, meaning like your MACD pushing, trying to push above your signal line and gets rejected, you know you're going to get a very high volatility, okay, towards the direction of the MACD. All right, so something to basically keep in mind. We already had the you know, the signal of the top formation right here. Okay, so BTC was actually you know, was showing us like a potential downtrend since like when, like the 15th. Okay, and many bulls right there were looking for, you know, BTC to push higher. I don't know why, but I wasn't basically paying attention to any YouTube channels, right, during this time, because most people will be calling for a head and shoulder and all that good stuff. I told you, man, these head and shoulders, you just have to be very cautious with them. Okay, you just have to be very cautious, because the entire pattern right here could be a left shoulder itself, where we're going to get the move, something like that. You just don't know. Okay, this entire pattern right there, okay, could be a left shoulder for the next inverse, you know, inverse head and shoulder pattern. So something to basically keep in mind, just in case we do retrace lower, we could use it later on for a possible left shoulder formation, right? Hey, what's up, Phipps? Thanks a lot for tuning in. All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on a 6-hour basis, right? So when we take a look at BTC on the 6-hour, as long as guys we get a as long as we're getting a negative momentum right here, and if you recall guys, after the bullish crossover right here, after the bullish crossover right here, what I said was like the after, if we get the negative momentum, okay, over the next like a few days, meaning like MACD crossing negative right here, it basically will confirm the downtrend, okay, meaning like this move will be dumping. So if you caught that move, price action dumping below the 21, you knew, okay, at least, okay, price action will basically be retesting somewhere around like a 50% to a 0.618. So everything was pointing down, okay, in terms of indicator, indicators. Actually the the RSI right here, we did not have a divergence, right? It wasn't a divergence because we did not push all the way up to the top, but the MACD was good enough, because sometimes you can get like a divergence on your RSI, but you're not going to get a divergence on your MACD. You see what I'm saying? So so sometimes sometimes you get both, sometimes you don't even get any divergences, because if you're looking for a divergence on a 6-hour time frame, you won't gonna get one, okay, because there is no divergence at all, okay, right here. Maybe this one right there, okay, that's the only divergence you had, right? And we talk about the double top double bottom right here, we talk about it, right? So and we said it is time to be cautious right here, so just in case it is going to be an isolated move to the downside, right? And that's exactly what happened, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on the hourly. The hourly time frame, I know many bulls will be drawing lines like that. We will go back to the daily time frame, right? So many bulls will be drawing bullish setups like that, right? Something like that. But I just don't like these type of divergences, okay? I talked about it on a daily basis a few weeks ago, because the entire move we got right here was a divergence itself, okay? That entire move was a divergence itself, right? Meaning like price action was doing something like that, MACD was pushing to the upside. So this move we got right here, it needs to create a divergence itself like that, something like that. So I don't think like I want to be using like the entire range right here as a divergence, okay? Just have to be very, very cautious, right, regarding these divergences, okay? So a good example is right here on a daily basis. If you guys recall, after we got the that move right here, right, okay, price action created what? A divergence right there, okay? So after we dumped down to the bottom right around like a 45k, so many bulls started to print this pattern, right, to print this divergence, something like that. And what I said was like, guys, be cautious, okay? This move right here was a flat correction, so it is technically what? A continuation pattern. So why you want to be why you want to risk like your position drawing a pattern like that? Because it could be something like that. That's exactly what I said, right? I said it could be something like that. That's why after we print the flat divergence, right, I was like, okay, I like the move right here. That's why I was not bearish on the way up. That's why I said all the way up, I was saying like we could retest like a 46k, okay, and we hit like a 45.8, and in my premium I said 43.5 and 45.8, and we hit 45.8 exactly, okay? So you just have to be very cautious. If you take a look at it on the hourly basis, right, if you take a look at it on the hourly basis, that move is already done, okay? It is already done. That was your divergence, okay? But you did not push to the upside, okay? So now you got another potential divergence, right? Where price action could do something like that, or it could do something like that, where you're not going to get any bearish crossover MACD, on your MACD, but price could still dump to the downside and still push to the upside, right? So just have to be very, very cautious, right? So now let's take a look at BTC in terms of moving averages on an hourly basis. On an hourly basis, what I would be anticipating is like a retest. If we push higher, right, the 1 hour 100 EMA going to be our immediate resistance. Okay, if we go back to the 6 hour time frame, the 6 hour 21 EMA will basically act as a strong resistance right there. So if you recall, our 6 hour 21 EMA resistance back in December, right, 51.7, over 2 months ago, right, we said 51.7, right, going to be our initial resistance right there, right? And it dumped back down to 45, 46. That's why I keep telling you guys, you got to stick to your strategy. Okay, 45, 46 was what our support right here. Even though we shorted at 51.7, right, we knew 45, 46k area was not going to be a very easy support range to break. Okay, so it created what ended up creating a flat correction, and we ended up dumping below it, and now just retested it. That's why I was not, guys, bullish when BTC was at 46. Okay, was saying like if we hit like a 43.5 up to 46k area, bulls got to take profits and bears got to start like accumulating for the next like a downtrend and all that good stuff. Okay, so these are big moves, guys. I'm not looking for like 500 points, 1000 points. I'm looking for at least 7,000 point moves on BTC. Okay, and we've been pretty successful over the last few months, looking for those 7,000 to 10,000 points directional move. All right, it doesn't matter, just directional move, right? So let's go back to the hourly time frame, right, to see if we can find any other possible, because on the hourly, the only thing you could look for, right, is like a possible reversal. That's the only thing you could be looking for, right? Because the higher time frame, it is already saying like we could be dumping lower. So on the hourly time frame, you could, you only want to be looking for like short-term reversal or like a short-term bullishness and all that good stuff. But as of now, the only thing we got is like that move, lower lows, right? Some people will be drawing something like that, but I will just wait for the next like 6 to 12 hours or even up to 24 hours to get more data, right? To get more data, and basically get a better judgment regarding the hourly time frame, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at the chat room. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 50-day cycle. We haven't been talking about the 50-day cycle for a while now. Okay, the 50-day cycle, if you guys recall, we talked about the 50-day cycle opening on the 20th, right, of February. So the 50 EMA on our 50-day cycle, it is at 32k, so which basically coincide with our 21 EMA on our 3 weeks time frame. Okay, so 30k, guys, it is going to be a very important key level to be accumulating BTC. I'm not saying it cannot dump, right? But if you're looking for the macro view, buying at the monthly 21 EMA, buying at the 50 day cycle 21 EMA, most of the time will generate what? High yield. Okay, as you can see right here, we did not even close below the 50 below the 21 EMA on the 50-day cycle. Okay, even though we dump all the way down to 4k, if you basically just bought BTC around like 7k and you don't care about anything else, you still manage to sell your BTC almost at $70,000. Okay, so the 50 EMA on the 21 EMA on on the 50-day cycle, it is quite important. Just in case we do retest it. If we dump below it, we know exactly what to look for, because we said regarding the monthly time frame what to look for. Okay, it is not complicated, it is very easy. Either you stick to your monthly time frame, right, accumulate at the monthly 21 and monthly 50, that's it, and you don't care about anything else, or you accumulate all the way down to the monthly 50 EMA if you're looking for the next macro move, because the previous macro move really started at 9k, 10k, all the way up to 60k, right? So if you take a look at it, it was right around the monthly 21 EMA. Okay, so if we're looking for another macro move, it probably going to start right here. Even if we dump lower, the breakout will start somewhere around like a 30k, 35k. Okay, and we could be looking for the moonshot after that, right? Hey, what's up, Clay? Thanks a lot for tuning in, man. So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on a quarterly basis before we talk about Ethereum. So the quarterly time frame for BTC, it is still bearish. Okay, it is still bearish. The quarterly 21 right now, it is at 21k. Okay, which basically represent your your weekly 200 MA, right? Depending on how you want to look at it, right? Because the weekly 200 MA, it is right around like a 19 to 20k. Okay, so something to basically keep in mind. I don't think we will be staying below the quarterly 21 EMA too long. Okay, so if you see BTC anywhere around like below 30k, guys, it is going to be a good buy. Okay, it is going to be a good buy because we're looking at the macro scale, not like the lower time frame. Okay, not like the hourly, daily, 3D, and all that good stuff. I'm talking about the quarterly time frame. Okay, so as you can see, we talked about it last year. After BTC retested 30k, what I said, guys, it could take like forever to break out below 30k. I said it. I said cleanly, right? Most of the time, your last quarterly bull run, okay, let's say the last quarter of your bull run, okay, it takes generally, okay, over 4 quarters to break out below that quarterly cycle. If you take a look at it right here, the last quarter of 2017, take a look at it. It took like nearly, guys, 4 quarters to break out below it. If you go back to 2013, take a look at it. It never broke out below the last quarter of the 2013 bull market. Okay, we tried to retest it, but never basically dumped below it. Okay, so we basically repeating the same pattern right here. Right now it is almost what 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters, and we still above the 30k support. That's one of the reasons I'm saying like anything below 30k will likely to get bought up very quickly for the next like a bull cycle. Okay, for the next like a bull cycle, if and only if it gets there, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum, whoa, it is already 40 minutes, man. So if we take a look at Ether on a quarterly cycle, the only thing we can say regarding the quarterly cycle is like it's been very bullish. Okay, on Coinbase, right? It doesn't matter which exchange you're using, but Ether pumped like for nearly 2, 4, 6, 8 quarters straight without no bearish cycle. Okay, that's how bullish Ether was. Okay, yeah, and we started the breakout right around like a $350, $400, all the way up to 4,000, 4,800 range, right? So the quarterly, it is slight, I mean, it is not slightly, but it is bearish right now. Quarterly 21 right now, it is too deep. If we want to compare it to BTC, it is at 1100 range, but I don't have a target. I don't have a target for Ether all the way down to $1,100 as of now. We'll have to wait for the next like a few months to see if Ether will break out below 1750 range. Okay, so if we take a look at Ether on a monthly, we talk about the monthly 21 EMA basically could hold over the next like a few months and all that good stuff. If we break out below it, the monthly 50 EMA, it is going to be at 1411. Okay, 1414 actually, right? 1414 right here. So but as of now, we will just, based on the monthly time frame, okay, not weekly, not daily, and all that good stuff, we'll just basically focus on Ether, right, to try to hold, right, the 22 to 23 range. Okay, because we still got our support right here, the July lows. We will take a look at it on a lower degree, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at Ether on the weekly basis. If we take a look at Ether on the weekly basis, right, our weekly 100 EMA, it is at 2230 as of now. We talk about the weekly 100 EMA support. Remember guys, after Ether dump right down here, what we said, bought the dip, because we will be pushing back up. Okay, so bought the dip. Okay, so weekly 100 EMA, it is going to be a short-term support. If you don't want to be drawing like any Fibonacci's, right, you're not short-term trading, right, you could just look for the macro supports, weekly 100 EMA right here. But if you're basically short-term trading, it could be different. Okay, you might be looking for like a 0.618 or 0.786, because it could create some noise. I'm not saying it will do something like that, but all I'm saying is it might not be a direct shot all the way down to like a 22. Okay, it could basically print some noise, so and all that good stuff. But the next support after that, if we break out below the weekly 100 EMA, going to be our July lows right here, just about like a 1750 up to a 1944 on average, 1800 range. Okay, give or take. Okay, so and in our premium we enter the Ether short right there, right here. Okay, on average 3150. Okay, we said 3150 going to be the average entry, right, starting as low as 29 up to basically you know, even 33, but it did not get to like a 33, just hit the average entry 3150, and now dump all the way down to our first target. Our first target was what, you know, 2580 right here. That's why, you know, 0.618 was like 0.618 is a 2530 give or take, but I like to most of the time, okay, look for slightly higher prices than the exact price I'm looking for. For instance, if I'm looking for 2530, I might put it like 1% 2% above the range, right, just in case it doesn't basically retest it, like what happened right here. Okay, so we were looking for 2580 from the average entry 3150, and if you take a look at it right here, a nice, you know, 18%. I was looking for 20%, but I was like, okay, let's not be greedy, let's just put it slightly above it, and we hit our first target exactly as expected, right? Let's do this. So if you take a look at Ether, like on the 13th, right, that's exactly what I said, guys. Ether, you know, entry, you know, 2900 up to basically 3000. First entry, second entry 3150 on average, just about like a, you know, 3146. We hit like a 3170, 3180. Take profits, suck it up, you know, take 35% profits at, you know, 2580. We just hit our first take profits. Our secondary take profits, it is not there yet. We will see if we can basically dump all the way down to like a 2380, or even down to like a 2270. All right, so that's the type of moves and type of setup I like to get in this market, not like 100 points, right, 50 points and all that good stuff, right? Right here, let's do this. And another short-term short I was looking at was another short-term short regarding Bitcoin Cash was also right here. You know, it was looking for the 294, right, and basically 278 range, and even down to 234. We already hit below $300 and all that good stuff for Bitcoin Cash, right? So now if you go back to Ether and want to take a look at Ether on the low degree, let's take a look at it on the 6 hour. So if we take a look at it on the 6 hour, we just got a breakout after the retest of 0.618 right here. Yeah, you could say like a 50% pullback, right? So but close enough. Okay, it is in mid-range. So the resistance area to keep an eye on for either going to be the 6 hour 21 EMA or the previous Fibonacci right here, the 382 Fibonacci. It is going to be at 27.95 if it goes to that level. Okay, so so keep an eye on Ether up to basically 27.95. All the moving averages are pretty much negative, so I don't see any strong uptrend yet as of now. Okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at Ether on the hourly basis. So Ether on the hourly basis was kind of funny, right? Because you know, it was printing so many bullish divergences, right? As you can see right here, you got like so many crossovers, right? You got one right there, right? That's what I was just telling you regarding BTC, and you got another one right there, right? You're going to be like, man, when we're going to be breaking out? And you got another one right there. So it basically created 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And even like a five lows before even, you know, pushing to the upside. So most people have been bullish with these type of divergences, right? So you just have to be very cautious and pay attention to the higher time frame. Sometime when the higher time frame is the dominant trend. Okay, so none of these bullish divergences, right, played out. Okay, remember, a bullish divergence, it is not a reversal pattern. Like it could be a pullback pattern, but it doesn't have to be a reversal pattern. What I mean by that is, like, you got a bullish divergence right here, okay, a big one, right, on your hourly basis. Or even if you want to take double up on your timing, you could look at it on a 2-hour basis right there. But it might not be a reversal pattern. It could just be what, a pullback pattern, like what happened right here, right? You got a divergence on your 2-hour, but you did not reverse. You just got what, a pullback right here. Okay, sucker pump all the way up to a 0.786, right? So if like, let's say whenever you get a divergence and you be like, okay, we're going to the moon, you most likely going to get in trouble. Okay, you're most likely going to get in trouble. You just have to play the divergence. Remember, these short-term trading, they don't sometimes have to do anything with the macro trade, right? Because you might be expecting Ether to hit, like, let's say 2000, but before we hit 2000, we can get like so many crazy patterns. Okay, we could get so many, we could even get a wedge pattern right here. So, you know, and this entire move could be a bullish divergence itself. On the higher time frame, you could get another move and still dump down to your target. Okay, so you have to play the directional move sometime and not worry too much about the short-term setups, right? Like the 100 points, 50 points, and all that good stuff, because those will basically deplete your account. Okay, they will deplete your account if you don't trade them properly. Okay, all right. So let's keep an eye on Ether on a 6-hour basis, right? The 6-hour 21 EMA right there, just about like a 27.95 up to a 28.10, depending on the volatility. All right, that's going to be the short-term resistance. If it goes higher, we still got the previous support right here, 28.50, right, which could act as what, a strong resistance. Remember, 28.50, 31.50, you know, it is one of our most important area to keep an eye on, right, above like a 2000 area. Okay, so keep an eye on Ether around like a 2800. Right, so now I'm not sure if I'm gonna have time to talk about some of these good stuff, but let's go ahead and take a look at BTC with the let's go ahead and take a look at the BTC dominance, right? So if we take a look at BTC and the BTC dominance, right, you know, we still got our bullishness on a weekly basis. Could it be a wedge pattern? It could possibly, right? But as of now, it doesn't look like it will be a wedge pattern. Okay, so as of now, we're still looking for what I mean about the wedge pattern, meaning like a retest of the support. It could, okay, but we will just respect what we're creating right now, which was a flat correction like that, right, like that. okay, a retest of the bottom, right? And we're looking for another push to retest the resistance area up to 48%. So 46.5 up to a 48 going to be the next resistance to look for. If we hit like a 40, 46.5 up to 48, we could see some strong move in alt, meaning like the BTC dominance could be cooling off again. Okay, even retesting the weekly 21. If we break out above it, we got the weekly 100 EMA all the way up to a 51. Okay, 51% right there. Okay, so keep an eye on BTC, right, and the BTC dominance over the next like a few weeks and all that good stuff. In terms of indicators, all our indicators, both of our indicators, okay, MACD and RSI, they're still looking good. All right, they're still looking good in terms of bullishness. So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC and gold. Gold BTC chart, okay, the PAX-G. So if we take a look at the gold BTC chart or PAX-G BTC, right, what we've been saying is like, this entire move could be a macro flat correction where we basically going to be capitulating down later on, all the way down to like a 0.015, okay, up to down to 0.015 BTC, right? So something to keep in mind, it is a macro flat correction, but we just got to get the initial rejection right here somewhere around like a 0.06. So what does it mean? Okay, it means if BTC, right, let's say if BTC if PAX BTC hits like a 0.06, it means like BTC could be trying to push back up, right? So however, if PAX G BTC breaks out above the 0.06 right here, it means like most likely BTC will break out below the 30k, and the next resistance regarding the PAX G BTC going to be all the way up to the weekly 100 EMA. Okay, if you just want to take a look at it on a weekly basis. But as of now, it is struggling to break out above the weekly 50, which is good, right, for BTC, because if the PAX G BTC is bearish, right, it means like BTC USD is bullish. Okay, so if you take a look at it right here, back in October, if you guys recall, back in October, I was saying like BTC is extremely bullish, but I wasn't even paying attention to the PAX G BTC, but the PAX G BTC was telling us, okay, we're going to dump. Okay, so the entire move we're making right here, creating right here, right, it is nothing but a correction based on the previous dump right here. So this move right here, it is not parabolic, it is just consolidation. Okay, are we going to get another parabolic move to the downside, right? It means like gold will be like a less than 1.5% of BTC. Okay, less than 1.5% of BTC. Okay, so something to keep in mind. So if I take my calculator and I say, okay, what would be the price of BTC? What would be the price of BTC, right? Let's take our calculator. So for instance, if let's say gold stays at 1900, right, over the next like a few months, okay, and we saying like, okay, gold will be like, let's say 1.4% of BTC. So if we divide that by 0.0135, you're looking at BTC being all the way, BTC hitting like somewhere around like 140k. Okay, 140k. So it is a good chart to pay attention to, right, in terms of a directional move, right, just in case we basically get the breakout to the downside. Okay, if we get the breakout to the downside, we just got to pack our bags and be going to the moon. Okay, so remember, PAX G BTC dumping means BTC going up. Okay, BTC going up. PAX G BTC pumping means like BTC dumping. All right, so you could use like a gold / BTC USD chart. All you have to do is just type in gold, right, / right, BTC USD. That's all you have to do, and click enter. Don't do anything else, just click enter, and that's it. You got your chart. All right, So if you take a look at it right here, back in 2017, we bottom right there, push all the way up to like a 0.3 0.4, right there, 0.4 BTC, dump back down to like a 0.1 and retested like 0.4 before dumping all the way down here. So this chart, it is actually very clean. It is even better than the the PAX GBTC, but the PAX GBTC is live because this chart it is just a you just typing in and created it, right? But the PAX GBTC is live, right? Because you can trade that chart. All right, so I think we're done with the PAX GBTC. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the total 2. So the total 2, I talked about it in my premium last month, right? Regarding the retest of 800 billion, right there, right? As you can see right here, we hit exactly 0.618 and got the bounce back up to got the bounce back up to the weekly 21. Okay, that's why I didn't want to be bullish on Ether, because if I after taking a look at the total 2, the total 2 already hit the weekly 100 EMA. Okay, not weekly 100 EMA, but weekly 21 EMA, right there. But it is not yet at the weekly 100 EMA. You see what I'm saying? Ethereum already hit the weekly 100 EMA, right? But the total 2 is not yet at the weekly 100 EMA. Okay, so the pump back up right here was a resistance from the weekly 21. So if we dump lower, right, the total 2 could be retesting like 0.786 or the weekly 100 EMA. So the weekly 100 EMA right now, it is at 788, and 0.786 it is at 740. So 788 down to 740 going to be the next support for alt. Remember, total 2 is the total market cap of all the altcoins, not BTC. Okay, all the the total market cap of all the altcoin, including Ethereum. Okay, including Ethereum, but Ethereum is nearly 30%, okay, of the total 2, because Ethereum is just about like a 300 billion, right? So this guy is at 1 trillion. So Ether is about like 30% of the total 2, so it will affect how the total 2 will be behaving and all that good stuff. Okay, so I was actually bearish when this guy was right here on the 13th, right? Just about like 1.3 trillion, and I was saying like we're going to be dumping all the way down to like a 0.618, somewhere around like 880 billion, and we did that exactly. And the reason for that, the reason why I was paying attention to the total 2, because I was bearish already on Ether. Remember when Ether was around like a 41 to 4200 range, I was saying like Ether will dump all the way down, possibly even to the monthly 21. But I needed to convince myself why Ether was going to be dumping. So, and the total 2 was saying, okay, we're going to be dumping down to a 0.618, right? So basically, I was confident Ether was going to dump. So next support going to be 740 up to 788. Resistance going to be still the weekly 21 EMA at 1.16 trillion. Okay, I'm not sure if we're going to be pumping another 10-15%, but we will see. Okay, so you just got to be cautious. If markets pump all the way up to 1.16 trillion and you're going to be bullish, and sucker basically just dump to the weekly 100 EMA, right? So just be cautious, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at Tron USD. I haven't traded Tron for a while, USDT. It's been quite boring over the last few weeks. So Tron support right here. We already hit our July's prices, right? On a weekly basis, it is still negative. Weekly at 21 EMA going to be the resistance right here. The next macro support for Tron, if it breaks out below the 0.045 support right here, the next support going to be 50% pullback at 0.025 range. Okay, so resistance just about like a 0.075 or the weekly 21 EMA. right? AXS. Let's take a look at AXS. So AXS, similar to AVAX and Solana. You could draw, because these guys, they pump like a lot, guys. AXS, Solana and all that good stuff. You can see right here, it's like a pump like from 10 cents all the way up to $150. So it already got the job done, man. Like, something pump like 170,000%, guys. Like, you can't just be buying it, okay? You can't just be buying it, right? So, I mean, buying the top, you can still buy it, but buying the tops. So if we take a look at it in terms of Fibonacci, let's take a look at 236. So 236 support going to be at $28, right? So I would say like a $30 to a $28 going to be the 236 Fibonacci, okay? Support to look for based on Fibonacci, not based on indicator. I mean, not based on like any indicator, just your Fibonacci. If you want to draw a swing low to swing high, right, you could be looking for a good support all the way down to a $30. Right now it is at 55, right? So now let's take a look at it in terms of lower degree 3D. The MACD just flipped bullish right here, but I don't see any the only possible pattern, right, bullish pattern we could potentially look for is like a potential head and shoulder formation right there, okay? Meaning like it could try, okay, to go back to a 50% pullback all the way up to 87, okay? So 87 right here. That's going to be a 50% move though, right? So let's take a look at it on the weekly. So the weekly 21 EMA, it is right around like 77. So the range of 77, right, to a 50% pullback at 87, going to be a strong resistance to keep an eye on, because most people will be paying attention to the head and shoulder, okay? The big top head and shoulder formation, okay? So resistance, right, 77 to 87, and your big support going to be your macro support at 28 to a $30 range, okay, over the next like a few weeks. I don't think we will get there this week. I don't think we will pump to that area this week neither. So it is going to be a trade to pay attention to. Either accumulate the dips right here or sell the top right there and wait for the for the next weeks after that, right? Hey, what's up, Quiet Cook? Thanks a lot for tuning in. So Zilliqa, I like Zilliqa BTC. So I like Zilliqa BTC, right? So in terms of reaccumulation, right now it is in range, right? Low $100, low $100 sats. The next accumulation support going to be at 65 to 55. We do have a strong bull divergence, but the BTC dominance, it is very, very strong right now. So very few alt will be successful pumping, even if they create a bullish pattern. Okay, very few one. Okay, so they could pump, but they might not pump for a reversal. They could just pump for a pullback, right? But as of now, right, it is by range 100 sats down to up to basically 130. If it breaks out below it, no need to be messing with it. Just wait for the 65 to 55 range. Okay, resistance 400 sats and 600 sats right here. So it is a big move regardless of how long it takes to get to those areas, right? it is going to be a big move. So you're looking at a 400% move, right? Or a possible 10x move. Okay, but I don't expect it to pump like right now, but I'm talking about like next alt season. Okay, so accumulate it for the next alt season, not like right now. Okay, right, because we talked about it back in 2020 when Zilliqa was right around like 60 sats, 70 sats. Okay, we said accumulate Zilliqa right here. Okay, as you can see, it pumped all the way up to like 300 sats, 400% move. Okay, and even pump all the way up to a 400 sats, all the way, you know, nearly 700% move, right? If you waited for the top. Okay, so just, you know, just to recap it, Zilliqa, you know, support all the way down to 100 sats, and secondary support all the way down to a, you know, 64 to a 55 before the next big move to the upside, because we haven't yet retested the January. We did retest the April 2019 prices, right? But not yet at the June 2018. So June 2018 prices, we will get there. We just don't know when, but we will get there. Okay, that might be next alt season around like over 1,000 sats. So XDZ, let's go back to XDZ. Market is green. Finally. So XDZ, it is at support 3.5. So secondary support 2.5, right? Secondary support at 2.5. First support 3.5. Okay. So, but if you're paying attention to Tezos, if you're paying attention to Tezos BTC, you can see like even though Tezos USD it is not doing a lot, my Tezos BTC it is still holding pretty strong. Okay, as you can see right here, you know, we started talking about Tezos like late 2020, early 2021. You know, yes, you might be like, oh, we haven't, you know, pumped a lot yet, but the main thing is like Tezos BTC it is still holding pretty strong. It is still holding pretty strong over the last 14-15 months. Okay, since like you know, I would say like last 13 months, right? 12 months, 13 months. It is still above like 7,000 sats. Okay, it is still above 7,000 sats. And we talk about the 20,000 sats resistance right here. Okay, we hit like nearly 19,700 something like that, right? Nearly 20,000 before dumping back down to like a 7,500. Okay, so we just want to hold strong, right, in this range, right? If we hold strong above 7,500 range, we could get our parabolic move all the way up to a all the way up to like a 35,000 sats. Okay, if we break out below it, you know, our next support could be very deep. Okay, all the way down to like a 5,000 to a 4,000 sats range. So something to keep in mind. Okay, just have to keep an eye on the risk in case we dump down here, you know, and reaccumulate it before the next like a move to the upside. Okay, so either buy, you know, not financial advice, but either buy Tezos USD or just buy BTC, right? BTC USD. And if Tezos dumps below, you know, 7,000, 8,000 range against BTC, right, you just accumulate the dips because you already got the BTC, right? And if Tezos basically pumped right there, you just want to take profits at 35,000 right here and wait for like a few weeks to see if we're going to break it and all that good stuff, right? Litecoin. So Litecoin, if you watch our you know, few analysis, right, regarding Litecoin, we talk about the 105 to $100 sats, $100 range being like the support to keep an eye on, because you know, if you remember, guys, when Litecoin dumped all the way down to 105 back in July, we said, guys, it is time to buy the dip for Litecoin, because I don't think we will retest, we will dump below it. Okay, and we pump all the way up to 280. I was expecting a higher push for Litecoin all the way up to like a $400, but it couldn't basically retest it. So I was like, okay, we got our, you know, first macro support 105 to a $100 range, push back up to a 140, got the rejection right there. Right, so next support for Litecoin going to be 0.618 if we break out below the $100 support right there, 50% pullback. Okay, the resistance we're going to keep an eye on going to be 175 to $200. So resistance for Litecoin 175 to $100, right? Next support going to be 69 to you know, up to basically 75 for the next like a push back up to $100. Okay, so it is not time to focus yet for a possible move all the way down to a 45. Just want to focus on, you know, $100 and $75, and basically a resistance up to 175. HNT, let's take a look at HNT. Yeah, I don't be paying attention to HNT, but sucker is pretty parabolic, right? So in terms of wave analysis, it is easy to it is pretty easy to spot the 5 waves. Okay, 382 Fibonacci going to be at $16 for support, right? And secondary support going to be all the way down to $7 right here. Okay, but it is a directional move. I'm not saying it cannot basically do something like that, stay in this range, but the direction as of now, since like we're below our 21 EMA and could not get a clean breakout on our MACD, price action is below the 21 EMA and still hasn't yet, okay, broken out below it like massively, kind of like what Ethereum did on a 3D basis, like, you know, 40% breakout, something like that. Okay, so 50% breakout below the 21 EMA going to take us somewhere around like a $16 to a you know, $15 range. All right, $16 to a $15 primary support. Just to cover the 16. Okay, kind of look like Neo a bit, but a clean 5 waves though. All right, guys, I'm just gonna call it a day. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Right, make sure to hit the likes, subscribe to the channel, join my public Telegram group, link in the description. If you're looking to join Send Premium, send me a message. I'm gonna give you all the information regarding the premium group on Discord and all that good stuff. Okay, all right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Be cautious out there.